Hello, welcome to my channel. I read Reddit stories, I draw, and I judge. My drawing has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, so you don't have to watch it if you want to just listen. That said, I know my accent might be difficult to understand, so I'll include screenshots of the stories in case you need them. And today's topic is food fights. That is, fights in connection to food. All the stories are from Reddit. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not throwing out a salad that wasn't mine? I know the title sounds weird, but it's what happened. I work in an office with about 15 other people as an admin. Our jobs are to support the doctors that work in the office. We have about 20 of them in the office. One of my coworkers is severely allergic to peanuts and all tree nuts, so we have a rule that you can't bring those into the office under any circumstances. Their allergy is bad enough that they carry an EpiPen with them everywhere they go. The other day, one of the doctors brought us food from a meeting they attended. It was a bag of sandwiches and 2 large salads. I was helping to take them to the kitchen when I noticed one of the salads had walnuts in it. I told one of my coworkers, and she said someone should take it home, as opposed to having it out to share due to the allergy. I should have gone to another floor and disposed of it immediately. Instead, and this is where I might be the asshole, I said I'd take it home. So I put a giant bright blue post-it on the container that said "Don't open" with my name and put it in the fridge. Unfortunately, I had an emergency come up and had to leave work early. It caused me to forget the salad, and I wasn't going to be back in the office the following day either. So I texted 2 other coworkers and told them about the salad and told them one of them should take it home. Yesterday I was working from home and got a message from the coworker who had the allergy. They asked if I had left the note in the salad. I explained yes, but I wasn't the one who brought it in, and I had meant to take it home. The coworker tells me they had for some reason grabbed the salad and now they had to take Benadryl. I apologized profusely, but they were obviously very upset and did wind up leaving work early. Later that day, our boss sent out an email reminding everyone that nuts of any kind, in any form, are forbidden at work, and that everyone deserves a safe work environment. This email only went out to all of my coworkers, and not to any of the doctors, which I don't feel was fair. I feel terrible I didn't throw the salad away, but am I the asshole for not doing so? Okay, first of all, rules should apply to everyone. The doctor is the asshole for bringing the salad. It sounds like the system you have in place enables this kind of behavior by sort of putting the doctors above the rules. It's almost like the doctors didn't even get the memo, you know. Or maybe the doctors were told, "Okay, maybe don't bring nuts, but we'll love you anyway if you do." Well, the admins were told, "Do bring nuts." So there's a difference in how they're treated, and the doctors might feel like they can get away with things. Now, yes, you are the asshole for not throwing out the salad immediately, as well as your coworker who suggested taking it home. I know it probably looked yummy, and I also understand not wanting to dispose of food, but safety should come first. Besides, if you were so horny for that salad, why didn't you put it in your bag or just go outside and eat it immediately? Why put it in the fridge where everyone can be exposed to it? I know you didn't forget it on purpose, but it is your responsibility to remember important things. And after you did, you should have told your coworkers to just dispose of it. Why continue the whole take it home charade? Also, the fact that the coworker grabbed the salad makes me wonder where you put it exactly. It doesn't sound like you put it in the back of the fridge. It sounds like you blocked something else, which your coworker was trying to reach. This is of course speculation, we don't know that. Maybe they were just being nosy, and in that case they're also the asshole, but I feel like my explanation is simpler and more probable. And the fact that they had the reaction just from grabbing the container makes me question how was it packed. Was it a sturdy container that latched? The kind you keep at home and use multiple times? Or was it a thin plastic box with a flimsy lid and smeared with salad on the outside? That's how I imagine it. So, I agree with Reddit's verdict, which is everyone sucks. Your boss sucks for not enforcing the rules properly. The doctor sucks for bringing the salad. You and your colleagues also suck. Your colleague with the allergy might suck, but I don't think they do. To me, it doesn't sound like it was their fault. Let's see the comments. Top comment. I'm not sure why you are the one taking the blame here. Doctor who brought the food in was clearly the one in the wrong. I used to work in a medical office, and the doctors were always treated better than the staff, like they could do no wrong, and we always wound up taking the fall for them. Super frustrating, eh? That said, you really should have immediately toasted. If her allergy is that severe, it doesn't matter who brought the salad in. If you knew about it, it kinda makes you complicit. That also said, why the fuck did your coworker with a deadly nut allergy grab the food that wasn't hers and labeled with someone else's name? There has to be some level of personal responsibility here. No matter what the rules of the office are, people can slip up sometimes. If she didn't prepare the food or watch it being prepared herself, she has to take extra precautions. It's just a fact of life for her. I think this is a genuine everyone sucks here post. Everyone you mentioned has some sort of culpability. Added to add, the number of people here who think she ate the salad is too damn high. She touched the box it was in, and that gave her enough of a reaction that she had to take Benadryl. If she had eaten it, she would be in the hospital. Second edit. I changed my mind about the coworker with allergies being at fault. She might have been trying to get something else in the fridge, or moving things, or cleaning. The office has a policy of no nuts at all, so she shouldn't have to worry about that. The salad should not have been there, full stop. Yeah, exactly. I agree with the second edit. I also don't appreciate the way you phrased it in the title. We're supposed to think, oh no, it wasn't even yours. How can you be the asshole for not throwing it out? Well, it was yours. You made it yours. You can't switch it. You can't disown it the moment you get in trouble. So you are the asshole for not throwing out a salad that was actually yours. The next story is a bit vintage. It's from 2 years ago, but it also gives a perspective on thrown out food. Am I the asshole for serving my family food from the trash? For context, my sister and I grew up relatively poor. When I was 6, our mom took a promotion and moved 3 hours away. We found out in our adult life she had been hoarding her money and giving our alcoholic father a small allowance to raise us. With his addiction problems, it left us minimal money for essentials. By the time I was 16, we were technically on our own, and I was ransacking dumpsters to feed myself and my sister. I'm now in my late 30s, have a successful career, and live quite comfortably. My sister is also well off now. My wife and I have a great relationship. I've worked to stop some of my old habits from my upbringing. Some of my penny pinching techniques my wife graciously ignores and lets me save our money where I can. However, there's one issue we always can find a compromise. I can't handle when food is thrown out. Our daughter, 12, wanted chickens last year. That ended up being a good idea, since our table scraps would go to them instead of being wasted to the trash. For the record, I hate when my wife shops at Costco. She buys too much for our family, which creates a lot of waste. I've asked her to at least donate what we don't eat, or give it to me and I can drop it to a homeless camp near my job. She promised to just buy less quantity, but that didn't last, because she doesn't like grocery shopping more than once a week. Last week, I came home and found a sealed pack of lettuce, one whole cucumber, an entire loaf of bread and potatoes in the trash can outside. The lettuce was expired, but looked fine. The bread was also expired, but had no mold. The potatoes had eyes, but weren't green or rotten yet. I went inside and started on dinner. I grilled chicken, which was the only item not from the trash. I made salad and added the cucumber, used the bread to make croutons, and finally I made mashed potatoes. We all sat down to eat. My wife mentioned how great the food was. I told her it was what she had thrown out earlier that day. She was completely mortified and grossed out. I told her I washed everything off before cooking it, but she said that didn't matter. My point was, if the food was good enough for us to eat, it should have not been thrown out. At bare minimum, she could have given it to our daughter to take to the chickens. She argued back that I should have taken it from the trash and to the chickens, not to our table. She was irritated with me, fearing we would all have food poisoning or something, but none of us got sick from the food. She said regardless, it was wrong for me to prove a point in that manner, and borderline abuse to serve the family food from the trash. I don't really see what I did wrong. There are starving people in this world, and for us to throw out perfectly fine food just doesn't sit right with me. Am I the asshole? There are two halves to every ass. So let's start with your wife. Throwing out food is not okay, unless it's a salad that might kill your colleague. Everyone has accidents, but in her case, it's not a one-off. It's systematic. Sounds like something that happens every week. Why does she buy so much? Is it some kind of impulsive buying problem? Also, who throws out food based on the expiry date alone? In making decisions, you should rely on your senses. Take a look, take a smell. If it looks fine and smells fine, there's no reason to throw it out. The expiry dates are normally pushed earlier just to be safe. So, OP is not wrong for having an issue with this. But the feeding his family from the trash part is where he lost me. Maybe it's just me being overly squeamish, but I wouldn't eat something from the trash, even if it was packed. Besides, I don't think polyethylene is completely impenetrable. Have you ever tried putting a piece of bloody meat into a bag? It leaks. I think there are different kinds of polyethylene, and some of them do let things through. Also, doesn't packed salad has little holes for ventilation? And also, did you wash the bread? He says he washed everything off. Did you wash the bread? In conclusion, you should have given it to the chickens, not to the people. I'm willing to cut you some slack because of your traumatic experience and the fact that eating out of the trash is not actually something unthinkable to you. This is literally how you used to live. And it's not like you fed your family and abstained yourself. You wanted to teach them a lesson and you thought it was actually good. So I'm taking off some asshole points for that. But still, you are the asshole. I know it's probably more icky than dangerous. I know there are whole communities who feed from dumpsters. They call themselves frigans and they seem to be mostly okay. Otherwise, we would hear about them much more often than we do. So and so ate from the trash and died. We would hear it every day. So I don't think it's as dangerous as it seems, but frigans seem to know what they're doing and they consent to it. They do it by their own choice. Your family didn't consent to it. You should have fed the chickens. Feed the chickens. Reddit said asshole, but to me it's more of an everyone sucks situation. Your wife sucks for being wasteful, you suck for feeding people out of the trash without their consent. Oh, one more thing. If your wife buys too much because she only wants to do shopping once a week, how about you take over the shopping instead, huh? If you are so responsible and if it irks you so much, which I totally understand, how about you rearrange your household duties? Let's see the comments. Top comment. You are the asshole. You need to find ways for you to heal from your childhood trauma without digging food out of the trash. Just because you are okay this time doesn't mean that wasn't a bad decision, especially feeding it to your family without their consent. Someone responds to that. Would amend to everyone sucks here, because it's clear from throwing out unused, unopened items that the wife is buying more than they need and throwing it out instead of donating it. Food waste is unacceptable. Having seen the news reports of activists who pull out pounds and pounds of perfectly good food from grocery store trash bins, I am unable to say whether what OP did was dangerous or not. But even if it was, that doesn't make buying too much food and throwing it out instead of donating it okay. Another person responds, if it had been meat or dairy, OP might have been chancing food poisoning, getting it out of the trash, when it had gone unrefrigerated for a while. But vegetables and bread, all of which sound like they were sealed in plastic and none of which had visible mold, that's not a danger. Someone says, except if he really cared. He could just do the groceries himself. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Believe it or not, just as I was preparing to record this, I decided to put a patch on an inflammation I have on my face. And these are very special patches from Korea with micro needles, very good at soothing inflammations. And then I took a little piece of plastic with 2 remaining patches and I put it in my trash bin. I don't even know what I was thinking. Maybe I thought I needed to throw out the package, but I didn't need to do it because I had some patches left. And let me tell you, these are expensive. But I'm not putting it on my face after it was in the trash. They were unprotected, with their little needles sticking out. And I had a huge dust beard in my bin, having recently emptied my vacuum cleaner. So, they didn't have a chance. Rest in peace. Am I the asshole for bringing my own food to a family dinner because my brother's wife is a terrible cook? So last weekend, my family had a big dinner at my brother's 35 male house. His wife, 33 female, cooked the meal. I'll just be blunt. She's a lovely person, but her cooking is awful. I've tried to be polite and eat it at past dinners, but every time I've either gotten sick or just couldn't finish the food. It's bland, overcooked, or just plain inedible. This time I decided to bring my own food. I didn't make a big deal out of it, just quietly put my dish on my plate when everyone else was eating. But my sister-in-law noticed and asked why I wasn't eating what she made. I didn't want to lie, so I said I had some dietary restrictions, which is true to some extent, but not the whole reason. She seemed hurt and asked if I didn't like her cooking. I tried to downplay it, saying it's just easier for me to bring my own food because of my diet. Well, now my brother is upset with me, saying I embarrassed his wife in front of the family. My parents think I could have just eaten a little bit of her food to be polite, but I didn't want to go through another meal of forcing down food I couldn't stomach. The answer is yes, you are the asshole. Did you read your own story? This story is not at all controversial. I've just picked it because I find it hilarious. Imagine OP taking her place at the table, with her bag in her lap, and casually trying to fill her plate out of her bag, hoping everyone will just ignore it. Not a strategic thinker, are you? And yes, being a picky eater myself, I can kinda relate, but this would never even cross my mind. This is wild. This is a wild thing to do as a guest. I also understand not wanting to confront her. I would also make up some lie, but my advice would be do it in advance, as opposed to improvising at the dinner table. Say something like, hey, I've recently found out I'm lactose intolerant or something. Is it okay if we order takeouts for me, or if I bring something with me? But then, what if being a lovely person you'd mentioned her to be, she decides to accommodate you by cooking something specifically for you, something really special? I have no plan for that. I guess I'd just pretend to be ill and not go altogether. Let's see the comments. Top comment. Well, I understand your reasoning. Still, you're the asshole. You do not bring your own food to a dinner without notice. Hey sister-in-law, I just wanted to give you a heads up. I have some issues with my diet right now and need to eat special food, which I want to bring along because I don't want to bother you with new stuff. The way you pulled the stunt did embarrass her in front of everyone, and your sister-in-law seems to be hard insecure about her cooking skills when she jumped instantly to you not liking her cooking. There you go. This commenter phrased it much better than I did. Now we learned what to do. Instead of bringing your own food to someone else's dinner and trying to stealthily put it in your plate. Yay! Anyway, this was my pilot episode and my very first YouTube video. No one will probably watch it, but if you do, let me know. Bye!